Next, I would like to welcome Congressman David Schweikert. He serves in the House Financial Services Committee, and he's here to welcome us to Washington, D.C., and give us an update from Capitol Hill's perspective on how this technology is impacting policymakers.
Okay, now we'll see if I was smart. Have any of you ever had one of these portable mics on you and seen the jokes about going someplace that's inappropriate with it still live? It does happen. Running family joke. What are the 2 times in life you think you know everything? When you're 14 years old and the day after you get elected to Congress. I will tell you, the discussion of a distributive ledger, it has been a fascinating experience. I've been on financial services for a few years, and we started talking about... I think I hold the record because I was the very first person to mention Bitcoin in Congress. And it was years before anyone had any idea what the concept of a cryptocurrency was. I will make you the argument right now, I probably have only 6 or 7 of my brothers and sisters who even understand sort of the basic mechanics of the distributive ledger. About 3 months ago, The Economist actually did, you remember the front cover of the blockchaining and how it could change the world. We went out and bought dozens and dozens and dozens of copies around that. It is starting to sink in to the electeds. What is fascinating is the halls of Congress are already starting to be populated by some of the folks who are scared to death that you're about to put them out of business. Seriously, think about this. If you're in the money transfer business, if you're in the credit card infrastructure business, if you're the old processing systems, is this technology basically your disruptive threat? And so, as everything, for those of you who watch us in Washington, D.C., it's about the money. You know, we always say money, power, vanity, but it's about the money. And this is going to create a revolution if we can move quickly. And from the professor's standpoint, it is professor, isn't it? No. Oh, do you want a promotion? but listening, for many of us, actually, we think this solves a whole bunch of problems that we're up against right now. It's my cost of transaction. Let me use a handful of quick examples, and I'll let you get to people who are a hell of a lot smarter than I am. We've been actually having an internal fuss right now how we do things like foreign aid to very, very poor people around the world. Do you give the block of money to a government, and the government basically decides to do some sort of project, and we know from audit after audit about half the money's disappearing somewhere in the process? Or would you be better off promoting a world where those folks in that village in Myanmar, this is their bank, and you promote an infrastructure where you can buy things from them, where you can do trade with them? And it's a radically sort of different view. So think about this much more than just moving the cryptocurrency. It's so much more. There's many of us who've had this fascination with sort of micro capital, and I don't mean the very, very small. I mean, I did the Jobs Act. Most of the Jobs Act were pieces of bills I did. And one of the concepts is, how do I finance the next generation of startups? How do I finance that very small business? And the concept, you want to sell stock. Could I buy it directly from you and never have to have it land in another platform? This solves some of that problem. How about if I wanted to move money between us without it having to land in a bank? Think about today's world. PayPal, whatever value of it, what's the one that's called? Is it Venmo? It functionally still has to land somewhere at, I guess, a Utah industrial bank. And all of a sudden, as soon as it does that, it hits all the Dodd-Franks. It hits all the sets of rules. What happens if I could do that exchange of value directly with the distributive ledger and go around the cost? Do I all of a sudden start moving to a few cents, a penny, for the movement of that money? Then what happens when you and I use a credit card, and some of those credit card transactions are hitting as high as, 5, 6, 7%? It does change the world. But for those of us out there, we're starting to think it's much more than just money. It's ownership. It's ledgers of transfer. It's everything in that world. And my instinct, and this is where I may come at you a little bit differently, I think this could get adopted much, much faster than the public around us, the folks who've been in traditional banking and finance are ready for it. Because what's the greatest threat right now to a community bank, to a regional bank? No, seriously. Well, all day long we used to say, "Oh, it's the Dodd-Frank, it's all the it's the rules, it's the cost of compliance." And I'm going to make you the argument: it has been technology. It's the fact that this is about to become my bank. When the lending clubs of the world start moving their money on this, using a blockchain, and no longer landing in a bank at all, do you really need your community bank anymore? When FinCEN continues to take the profitable lines of business and then now finds a way to move ownership, title, the actual value, and learns to do it at an incredibly inexpensive rate, how do you compete? And for those who are actually more, have the social conscience of what do we do with our brothers and sisters out there who are underbanked or unbankable, do you start to say this is also one of the solutions to leap from a bricks and sticks sort of banking structure that is very heavy in capital infrastructure and move to something that's hyper efficient, that person is marginally bankable? I mean, for those of us who've traveled in Africa and you realize this is your neighborhood bank, it's here. And look, I'm blessed. I represent Scottsdale. I have a number of, PayPal has a bunch of their higher-end programmers in my community. And so I have a coffee problem. Seriously, any of you want to join a 12-step group? We're holding our meetings Tuesday mornings at Starbucks. And they are fascinated that if a distributive ledger, if they can build it in a robust fashion, what it does to their cost structure. What I will beg of you is those of you that have relationships with my kind, those of us who get elected and think we already know everything, buy us one of these coffees, or actually we'll buy you the coffee. Educate us on the upside here before, and I don't have a delicate way to say this, but before the control freaks find some way to destroy the incredible good this could do to our economy and the incredible good this could do to the world. So, hey, thank you for letting me stand in front of you.